Hey guys, so I've got my Bespoke post from August of 2016. So this one is Somm. Don't think you can see it. No, there it is. Somm. The one thing though is that they ran into a supply issue with this box. They had so many people request it that the original stopper in the box that they got, they swapped it out for another one. They basically said same function, but we're going to put it in there, and you'll all call that out when I actually get there. But $45 for this box, and basically the whole purpose of this is kind of elevating your wine game and giving you some cool tools of the trade to do so. And again, $45 in August. So basically the card in here, Somm, all about elevating your wine game. And there's a few really cool things in here that I'll show you. So first of all is this private preserve. So it's really weird. It actually feels like it's empty and there's nothing in it. But basically it says it's got 120 plus full uses, and you can use it with an inert gas in order to help your wine last longer after you've opened it. Really cool concept. I haven't tried this out, so I can't really comment on it, but if I was to assume what would happen, that there's a gas in here that's heavier than oxygen, and when you spray it in there, it pushes the oxygen out, therefore your wine doesn't oxygenate and it stays preserved. But of course, once it's exposed to oxygen, it begins to change already, so it only can preserve it for a shorter amount, or a short amount of time, and not indefinitely. Okay, so any wine box would not be complete without a bottle opener, and you guys have probably seen some really crappy wine openers. This is probably the best wine opener that I have not ever seen, but one of the best ones that I've ever seen included with really much of anything. So this one is a Barvino wine opener. Special edition is what it says for Bespoke post. So I used to actually serve wine at a restaurant, and I can tell you that this is probably one of the most amazing tools that you can have. A very good wine opener can change almost the experience with any wine opening the experience that you do. So the fact that that's a curved serrated knife edge rather than a flat knife edge completely changes the fact that this is going to be able to tear the foil on the wine very well, get you a nice crisp open and perfect cut every time. The wooden handle looks also fantastic. The spiral is also pretty much perfectly done. It actually has a groove in the middle as well to kind of help so the cork doesn't completely dissolve as you punch into it. Again, all these little tiny features just completely change the way that you open up a bottle of wine. And very large and wide handle, which is again hugely awesome. The actual opening section of it for if you want to open up beer bottles, again, also awesome as well. So honestly, this is probably one of the coolest bottle openers that I've seen. This is going to sit up on my counter and going to get used regularly for bottles of wine. Also, if you can see there, it's kind of got some textured edges on it as well. Again, it just makes holding it that much easier. This is absolutely awesome. Next, so remember I mentioned they had a supply issue with the wine stopper. So they were trying to get like a wine preserving stopper that you could put on top of your wine and evacuate the air out of it. Well, again, they ran out of supply for it, so instead they sent a Rabbit wine preserving stopper, and I was pretty afraid that we were going to get some cheap something pretty crappy. But Rabbit is well known for their bottle openers, their pretty much anything related to wine. You're probably not going to be able to see the Rabbit logo there, but anyways, looks really nice and does a pretty good job of evacuating air. This is just pretty awesome. Granted, just like anything, it's only going to get a portion of the air out, but the more oxygen you get out, the less your wine is going to get oxygenated, making it last just a little bit longer. Next, we have 33 bottles of wine. So if you've seen any of my other videos I got one of these for my beer box to basically help you describe beer and kind of find beers that you like. This is kind of the same thing with wine. So it's got a flavor wheel on it to help you describe your wine, state where it came from, stuff like that. This is really cool. Again, if you go out and you go wine tasting, you can kind of record a lot of your stuff in here and go back and find those wines that you really did like. Okay, and then last but not least is the Host Twist Adjustable Aerator. So I've seen these a lot, and I know a lot of people who have used them, but just know that if you've never decanted a wine and kind of tasted the difference between decanted versus non-decanted wine, you can kind of see that oxygenating your wine for immediate drinking can be excellent. It just really opens up the wine, brings out a lot of the flavors to it. So this is an aerator that basically quickens the decanting process for you. So you pour your bottle of wine or a portion of your bottle of wine through, and it simulates that long-term aeration by exposing a lot of that to the air, therefore by simulating decanting for your wine. So this is what it actually looks like. I played around with it just by putting water through it. I actually have not tried it around with wine, but again, it's one of those things that people swear by. I have a actual decanter as well as a basic aerator that I've used before and I've had some great results with. Would have liked to have been able to compare these two together, but I just don't have the time right now to drink a bottle of wine, test, and figure out which actually ends up working out, because you use an adjustment here to adjust the number of hours that you want to simulate the aeration, and really all that does is it slows down the flow and exposes more of the wine to oxygen. But of course there's a 0 hour there, which I don't know why you'd set it on 0 hours, but still you can tweak it just a little bit over to 1 or 2 and whatever you want. Play around with it, find out what works best for you. But the nice part is that they suggest specific styles of wine to use with specific styles of setting, so you at least have some point of reference, so you don't just go out and buy this and just go willy-nilly with it and playing around with it and I wouldn't say ruin some of your wine, but change characteristics of your wine that you weren't expecting. So overall, I think this box is an excellent value, especially for somebody who wants to get some high-end wine gear and maybe doesn't have a decanter or maybe doesn't have a really good aerator and wants to do that. If you probably already have a bottle opener, but like I said, that bottle opener is absolutely fantastic, one of the best that I've ever seen. Very, very happy that I have that now. I'll be using it relatively often. And I'm also really happy that Bespoke Post chose to, rather than not including the bottle topper in the box or just putting something really cheap bottle topper in there, they went all out and they actually went and bought a name brand, well-known Winestopper that basically did the same function that they promised when we bought the box. They might have lost a little bit of money when their supply chain ran out, but again, this just goes to show that Bespoke Post is really concerned with making sure that when you buy a box from them, you know exactly what you're getting, and you happen to end up getting exactly what you paid for or you thought that you were getting in the beginning. So again, awesome, really happy with this box, and I honestly can't wait to use most of this stuff. So thank you guys very much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave that below. If you have any other boxes, suggestions, or anything you want to ask about Bespoke Post, also please leave that below. If you want to subscribe or check out the boxes that will be available, you can sign up in the description of the video, and that way you can sign up, and on the first of the month you will get a basically list of boxes to choose from. If you don't like any of them, you can skip and wait for the next month for new boxes to come out. Thanks for watching. Go check out my other videos.